We're going to leave the lightning round until later. We're just going to keep moving forward because we're making good time. So for our next speaker, we have Toufi. He is the CEO of Privacy Shell, and please help me welcome. He's going to be speaking on the power of decentralization. Thank you.
Hey guys, how many of you have used the vending machine? I haven't. You know when you use the vending machine and you put in your coin in there and it doesn't give you what you're expecting? You know that feeling? So that's how most people feel in the emerging market when it comes to banking. 73% of the world today, they don't have access to banking. The current banking system that's been around for quite some time cannot provide the banking, and if it can, it would have provided banking a long time ago. How many of you have heard of the code Z59.5? Only one person in the back. That code is the number one killer globally. That code is referred to for killing 12.5 million people per year. So it's for extreme poverty, and it was created by WHO. So from extreme poverty to global prosperity is where we would like to get to in about 6-7 years. We need a lot of help to get there, and where we are today is we're very far off. So many of the crypto folks are treated as if they are a threat to the banking industry today. They're treated as if you're doing something that you're going to promote illegal activity and whatnot. I've been around the block a few times, and not only the blockchain. And I know for a fact that the science behind the blockchain is not about a threat, it's about an opportunity. But people need to see it. What you see here, the transaction fees per year globally is about $750 billion. That means each and every one of you pay about $450 per year. That's US dollars. In Canadian, that would be about probably 590 million. No, hold on, something like that. That's the transaction fees that you pay per year. And if we were to eliminate the transaction fees, that doesn't necessarily mean we're eliminating all the financial services. If we have a goal to eliminate that, perhaps we're introducing an opportunity where this one is zero right here, and for all financial services that they want to provide true services to folks that are around the globe, they can have access to those people. And we're talking about 2.5 million people today. They have access to smartphones, but they don't have access to banking. That number is growing, it's doubling, not because they're having a lot of babies. It's doubling because smartphone penetration is getting across the globe faster. So we do not have any political agenda. Again, a lot of folks would feel that every time you see somebody who's in crypto and they would start calling them names and whatnot, it's not fair, it's not cool. We're here to reduce friction. The friction is enormous, and like my previous slide shows, if you were able to reduce that friction from 750 billion to zero, that's a barrier to entry. They cannot afford to pay $750 billion, no matter how you swing it. They cannot afford, but if you remove that, then there's a tremendous amount of opportunity to be offered to the financial services folks, and that's if you're driven by greed. There's tremendous amount of greed to be distributed. Now, when it comes to doing good to the world, we can take care of reducing the amount of debt. 12.5 million per year. That means by the time I finish my talk, about 1,000 people are dying because of poverty, because they don't have access to banking. we don't want to go and keep giving them money. We want them to enable themselves. And we don't want to keep building that wall higher and higher for banking. We need to be able to give them banking a little bit faster and easier. They already have smartphones. We don't want to be, how to say it politely, we don't want to be pain in the ass. So I'm hoping you're with me on that. So we want to reduce friction, but I'm going to start with some predictions here because many of you would feel that you're very skeptical we won't be able to get there. I'm very confident we're able to get there if we work on it together, but we feel that the friction is internal to us. If every single bank is going to cause a friction to folks that are trying to create an opportunity in emerging market, we will probably never get there. But instead, we want to work towards that opportunity, and we're hoping we can work together to get there. So some of the predictions, Lord Kelvin, this dude, by the way, he's my great-grandfather, so don't say anything bad about him. Just kidding. So he said radio has no future. And at the time, people listened to him. Now, this dude, you probably know this guy better, Kenneth Olson. You know, he was heading the company that kind of became what HP is today, or it was absorbed by HP. It was the largest company in computing, and basically that's his attitude about TCP/IP. Don't make a big system out of it because, you know, we can't fix it if it breaks. So that's the backbone behind the internet. And that's in 1988, that's what he thought. So 8 years later, he wasn't only wrong, he was like way too wrong to show his face in public. Another prediction. Smartphones will never outsmart us. That was said yesterday by not Satoshi Nakamoto. Anyway, this slide is just a joke. Here's the crypto penetration today. In 8 years. This, how many of you have heard of like the blockchain is like the new web? Many. Okay. We think more of it as more like the new internet or FTP, because when we compare the data and you go out in the world and start talking about, you know, blockchain or Bitcoin or whatnot, most people will be like, what? What are you talking about? That wasn't the case in 1997, so that's not to disappoint anybody. This is more like a comparison of FTP the way we see it, but there's a lot of work that we as a community are doing to get there, and we can move from the 0.002% penetration to perhaps 20% in 6 years and possibly more. The solution requirement, this one, we did not create, this one's more as identified by the Gates Foundation. So apparently, Bill Gates is big on bringing, you know, global prosperity, and strongly believes that one of the 3 major components to get to global prosperity is finance. If we take care of health and energy and all of this stuff, we don't get to global prosperity. People, they need to manage their own finance and manage security. So that was, you know, identified that, you know, security first and less than 1% transaction fee, not the 2.5%. The 2.5% is actually very expensive. You might be able to afford it, but it adds up very quickly. Today, if you were to inject, you know, $25 billion in the emerging market in electronic currency using the existing banking infrastructure, by the end of the year, the 25 billion remains 5 billion in that market, and 20 billion is absorbed back by us because of transaction fees. So that's just transaction fees alone. We need something that can scale to over 100,000 transactions per second. There's a lot of work that can get us there. Strong governance, and this is what I want to emphasize on in this talk. It's the decentralization is about strong governance. When you hear decentralization, many people would feel it's like, oh, well, if it's decentralized, you know, who's going to manage it? If I don't manage it, it means, you know, it's out of my control, but that's not true. When we talk about decentralization in technology, something that has a strong governance, can operate on its own, it becomes like, you know, like an actual organism that you can depend on. And you also need global inclusion. So, this nice moving thing there, you may want to imagine that that is like the blockchain today. It's kind of like you're pumping like a heart. People would expect the heart to do the entire thing in the body. We think, you know, you still need a brain, you still need blood circulating, you still need a lot of other things. How many of you have heard of alveolus capillary protocol? Excellent. No doctors here, so I can like BS my way. Alveolus capillary protocol is actually what's responsible for a lot of exchanges that's happening in this room. Is about 700 septillion transactions happening per second, and that's not your heart doing it. Those are, you know, small pieces that exist inside your lungs and, you know, surrounding your lungs, and, you know, when the blood is flowing and they just do that exchange. So the reason why I'm showing this is because many people, they look at the Bitcoin protocol, which the way we view it is if we're building an organism out of this planet, you know, AI is taking care of brains, that's great, it's going to get rid of a lot of redundant jobs. We need a heart, but we also need a method to kind of do the exchange, you know, around the body of oxygen and carbon dioxide, or monoxide if you're trying to commit suicide, but I mean, if you don't. The way technologically this would resemble would look something like this on a small scale. Each and every one of those, imagine that this is like a node connected to all the other nodes, and that's basically, you know, the small scale like decentralization. And that gives us also another cool thing, that if the aliens were to attack the planet tomorrow, they would end up creating a dent in the existing system, and you guys won't be able to watch YouTube. But if it's decentralized and based on a decentralized protocol, the aliens will not be able to stop YouTube. And this thing, do you see it actually rotating? Okay, so that's irrelevant. But then, this is what the impact of the aliens will end up doing to the planet. I was actually going to say that what if the aliens attack and we get some sort of like nuclear thing happening? It would be sad, but then this is what it would do as well. You can still watch YouTube, you can still be on the internet, and transact your banking, and make sure that your money is secure, and so on and so forth. So that's another advantage of a decentralized system that you can move towards, and currently it cannot be provided with any, you know, HTTP or other protocols. So that's another dent where, you know, something really bad happened, but those that are alive, they can still be connected. Just a quick intro. You usually start this at the beginning or at the end. So my name is Toufi. I run a startup factory called Privacy Shell. Privacy Shell is motivated to build a lot of companies that they have privacy and security by design. So we like the blockchain a lot because we don't really need to depend on the third party to kind of secure a certain thing that we're trying to do. So we have several companies. We have a methodical approach of how to start companies and help founders. We're not one of those that can help founders when they are about to die in their company, like if their company were about to die. We actually promote death, you know, but we also promote success. We want to be there to increase your chances of success and increase your chances of death as well. Because if you're about to die, you don't want to like linger around for like too long. So then you can move on to the next thing and so on and so forth. So we have a few companies running now. We have one exiting next month, another one exiting in about 6 months. We've been around for about a year and a half. So here's 2 pictures. Do you guys see this guy in the back here? That's my grandfather. After he shaved. So this is a computer. This picture is taken about 60 years ago. 60 years, and the picture above is taken about 60 days ago. This is one of the miners somewhere in China. I did not take the picture, but it was sent to me. So the world's largest computer is here. What you see here on the screen, this computer costs like several $billion, is in China. It's one single computer that is super big. There's another computer up there, I think that one is in Sweden. Yeah, but that one, Titan, is definitely in the United States. But that's not the world's largest computer. The world's largest computer is actually partially in your pocket. That's another power of decentralization. So the decentralized protocol is capable of turning that power that you have in your pocket to be part of one global computer. And we're working on that, and we'll get there. Not as, just a terminal where you can access some computing is happening elsewhere. We're talking about some of the actual computation would be happening on your device that's in your pocket, on the computer that is in, at home. And without true decentralization, we won't be able to achieve that. Oh, and in her pocket as well. So, security first. If any protocol that is being built when it starts with crypto, we try to pay attention to security first, because the existing system, even the existing internet, was built and then security was patched afterwards. And then, privacy is an issue, and then security comes at the expense of privacy, and privacy at the expense of security, and so on and so forth. But when you're building crypto-based system, you pay attention to security first, and then you start scaling from that point onwards, then you end up with a system that is secure by design. Imagine a file that no one can copy but you. When you can copy that file, you can send it to someone else. That other person is capable of copying that file. That cannot be provided via HTTP today. This is also one of the things that crypto folks are working on. Some of them are in this room, hiding somewhere. Money doesn't grow on trees. Have you guys heard of this expression? How many of you heard of this expression? Okay, well, in digital currency, it actually does grow on trees. It's more binary trees. That's one of the protocols we're working on, a co-author of that protocol. This protocol is basically, it's called the TODA protocol. And it has 256 depth of binary tree, so you can have more points on that tree than the estimated atoms in the universe, and coins cannot be created unless they come on that tree. So it's kind of cool to finally see money growing on trees. Of course, every unit gets verified by 32 nodes or more in the security, and this is something that decentralization can provide, and without decentralization we can't get there. This is the founders of Tora Corp. Lila Tretikov, she was the CEO for Wikimedia Foundations, and Todd Gabart, he was the vice chairman of Intel Security, and a few other fantastic folks. I put my picture there. I kind of put my picture everywhere. This is one of our companies. Again, to reiterate the facts, current banking is not secured by design. Any one of you who are bankers, work with information security and whatnot, know that fact, that when you depend on your bank and you think that that is secure, it is not actually secure by design. Security is done as patches to the existing system. So that adds up a lot of things when you're adding that security as patches, with transaction fees and all of the stuff. So it's not that your bank is charging transaction fees because they're mean, it's just because they can't afford to reduce that, and we need a different protocol that can afford that. This is extremely important slide here. Back to my original slide, is it threats or opportunity? We really see that decentralization can provide a lot of opportunities to a lot of folks globally. When it comes to humanity and global prosperity, there are about 8 billion users. I mean, that's roughly estimated. It's 7.6. By the time we get there, it'll probably be 8 billion. Some people are having babies. Car companies can even benefit from that if they see it as an opportunity. Of course, if they don't, they probably disappear. They could make $120 billion per year. We can show them how. tech and telcos, they can make a lot of money because they are the enablers to smartphones, and they can get to provide people. And then banks and global finance actually could make $2 trillion per year. Again, only if they see it as an opportunity. If they don't, they just miss the boat, they disappear, and nobody would hear about them again. They probably would go to the museum. And finally, the cloud network and blockchain miners, they could also participate and make some money in that process. So, conclusion here, if you guys want to get involved with not-for-profit, we do have the Torah Corn Foundation, and if you do want to involve for-profit and make money, you have the Torah Corp company. Thank you.